Hi everyone, this is Peter. Today I want to introduce you is the Kinotehnik EVF. If you don't familiar about Kinotehnik, I think maybe if you are a DSLR guy, you will know a company name called LCDVF, and they are actually the same company. And why I want to introduce the EVF today, because I find out there is some maybe quite a numbers of functions which I like. First thing is if you have an EVF, probably you will find out, okay, after I buy an EVF maybe, and then I can't just use it maybe straight away, because first maybe the EVF don't come with the cables, and then in Hong Kong it's very hard to find maybe a cable about maybe 50 cm or maybe even shorter. So maybe the cable is already an issue for you. And the other thing is actually how can I mount my EVF onto my system, because maybe most of the EVF don't come with the mounting unit. And this is actually how I like the Kinotehnik EVF, because it's actually built in everything's into the box. For example, you open the box, you got two HDMI cables, and also you got the power D-tap cables, which if you have V-mount batteries, and then it's everything, and also the mounting unit here is also come with the system. So that means you buy the unit, you open the box, you put on the batteries, and then you can just straight use it. You no need to worry about, okay, where should I buy the cables, where should I buy the mounting, and then all those kind of stuff. This is actually what I really liked. And then the other thing I really liked it is actually they are using 4 AA batteries to power the EVF. Why I like this is sometimes, okay, for example, maybe what the situation now is I'm using an F3 with the EVF. And then the F3 is actually using the Sony BPU60. And then maybe sometimes when you're using another EVF, and then they're talking about, oh, I'm sorry, I can't use the batteries from F3. I have to use Sony MPF 970. Or maybe, I'm sorry, oh, you have to use the Canon 5D Mark II batteries. But you find out, okay, oh, I don't have maybe a battery like that. So I have to buy several just fit for my EVF or other accessories. And then when you go to a shooting, and then you will find out, okay, I will have to buy maybe several batteries of EVF, several batteries of camera, several batteries of maybe on-camera lights, and then you will have a whole bunch of different kinds of charger. And then it's actually not practical. But for the 4A batteries, yeah, you can have maybe a rechargeable 4A batteries. But in some situations, if you're in a hurry, you can just go to a supermarket or maybe 4 hours, maybe shops, and then you can buy AA batteries very, very easily, just like in Hong Kong. And also, the Kinotehnik is come with two sets of this. So that means you can have maybe 2 sets of batteries ready. When this is run out, you can just straightly plug in it, and then it just takes you a few seconds, which I really like, because it's very convenient. Because sometimes I'm facing this situation, and then it's a real panic for me. And also the other thing is how can you mount it on? Because this system is actually only mount onto hot shoe. But most of the camera, just maybe even you're talking about maybe a professional camera like this F3, they must come with a hot shoe adapter. So you only need to do is put on the hot shoe, and then just maybe release this one, and then just position your distance, and then lock it. Then you can actually control your whole EVF, the positions like this. But if you're using some kind of mounting unit, for example, maybe using a ball head or maybe using a magic arm, when you release it, and then the whole EVF is just fall off, because it cannot hold the positions just like this one. And this is I really like it, because it's very convenient for me. So for me, okay, for example, now I'm setting up the whole system like this, and then maybe, okay, for me, I like maybe I put it into maybe a higher position, or maybe I want to be something like this, and then I can just set it like that. I no need to just okay, release the button and then hold it and then just lock it. This is very convenient. And then, okay, and the other thing is maybe always the people will ask why I want to buy an EVF, because most of the video camera, maybe they have a viewfinder at the back. And then probably I will tell him that first is actually the positions which you put on the viewfinder is actually always very inconvenience. For example, like, okay, I put on the viewfinder at the back, and then my whole body and the whole camera is actually put in the front, and then it's quite hard for me to just like do the operations like this. And then when I do the pan and tilt, and then it's actually not really like maybe a comfortables. So for EVF like this, and then I can move my body much closer to the camera, and then when I do the pan, it really look like my body is just like moving with the camera, not like maybe I'm just using my hand to holding this, because it's not in the right positions. So that's why I think this the EVF is actually a necessary product for you, especially if you're talking about you using like maybe C300, C100, C500, or even like F3, FS100, DSLR, or FS700. So other than the hardware design, and they also come with a lot of like good functions for the electronic parts. For example, they definitely have like maybe some necessary functions for EVF, like maybe the peaking, zebra, force color. But other than that, they have put on some professional video functions. For example, they have put on black and white color to black and white functions. They have blue only functions, which is actually to calibrate the signal out from the camera to your EVF, which you can use the blue only with the color bar to calibrate the luminance of your EVF is the same as your camera. And then you also got like the audio bar at the top, which you can also take it away too. And you can put on, it also have a histogram. And then the histogram positions, you can actually set it your own. And the histogram, you can choose the RGB or luminance. So it's actually a very advanced software support into this system. And you would say, okay, oh, if I don't have an F3, and then maybe can I also use it? And then after the video, and then back at the end of the video, I will show you how it mount onto maybe other camera, for example, like FS100, or maybe the DSLR camera like maybe 5D Mark II or D600 from Nikon. Hi everyone, this is Peter. Now, okay, I'm set up the Kinotehnik EVF onto my D600 from Nikon, and okay, so you see, I'm actually, because the whole system, the mounting system is so flexible, so I'm actually put the EVF much closer to the further to the lens, which make the whole EVF is actually closer to the camera. So now, okay, for example, when I do the handheld like this, okay, so I take away tripods, okay, so you will find out now I'm actually just make my viewfinder much closer to the camera, or even I can using my chest to actually support the when I do the pan and tilt. And at the same time, you can see it's actually very light fit onto the system, and because the weight for this is actually not too heavy. So when you're holding like this without a rig or something else, and then I can say it's actually still maybe very fine for me. And again, I'm strongly recommend you to get something like maybe the Cineroid HC5D, the mounting for the HDMI, because in Hong Kong, I heard like maybe quite a numbers of my clients said, okay, because they just put the HDMI cable straight to the DSLR, and then maybe when they moved, and then the connector is just like keep bending the connectors on the camera, and then at the end they disconnect it, then broken, and then they pay several $1,000s to fix it. And then if you don't fix these issues, and then you have to pay again and again for this. So although I think this mount is actually not very cheap, just not cost about like maybe maybe several hundred Hong Kong dollars. It's nearly $1,000. But I think it's really worth it for you to give you a much safer options when you put on maybe something which connected to the HDMI. And now this adapter is actually work for my D600 too. So strongly recommended. And you see this because my D600 have embedded audio onto the HDMI. So in the screens on my EVF, because I put on the audio bar at the top, so you will see the audio bar is actually showing up onto the top. Because why I have to use this? Because if I put on the informations at the back, and then all the information is in the screen. If you want to have the loop out onto maybe another recorder, for example, like the Pix 240 or maybe 220 or maybe other recorder, and then you will find out all the information is also recorded onto your recorder. So if you put on the uncompressed out without any informations, the only thing you can see the audio level bar is only onto the built-in audio level on the Kinotehnik. So I can say it's a very convenient, very advanced software supported by the by Kinotehnik into the EVF, and then I really strongly recommend this, and with the rig like this. And if you want to have more information about like this EVF, please visit our ANS website.